I'm Mort Cooper, your host on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. Subtitled today, The Botox Voice. In studio with us is Mary O'Donnell. She comes from where?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston, the land of the bean and the cod, where the levels talk with the cabots.
Yes.
And the cabots talk only to God.
Yes.
Okay. I have the feeling in today's treatment of your condition, spasmodic dysphonia, that the physicians are well-intentioned in treating you with Botox, but they seem to be talking with God because they don't give you a choice. And that choice is when Botox is not working for you. Why don't they give you the choice of direct voice rehabilitation? It's all natural. You had 9 Botox shots.
Right.
Of the 9 Botox shots, how many were effective?
The first one was very effective.
Well, they seem to be able to work the first one. Tom Donovan, who's been on the show, gives up the right of privacy and confidentiality, had 17 Botox shots, and the only one that ever worked was the first one. Then we had a gentleman by the name of Gerald, who was on this show. He had 19 Botox shots, and none ever worked. We've had patients who have had 45 Botox shots over a period, I believe, of 15 years at the Mayo. Not one ever worked, not one. We had a young man who had 46 Botox shots over, I believe it is 7 years, and not one ever worked. We've had people who call me and tell me they've had 50 Botox shots and they have no voice, lost their career. The point is that I'm making is that I believe Botox is a shot that you might like to take because somebody's doing something to you and you don't have to work for it. That's fine. But the question I'm asking the medical profession, my colleagues and the academicians, is when Botox doesn't work for you, shouldn't they give you an alternative? And the alternative is reporting cures of spasmodic dysphonia for 35 years. Now, do the medics know about what I'm doing? Yes, I sent out books to them. I sent out a DVD, 2-hour DVD, to 14,300 of them. And it shows there are cures. I've sent out a book, a 2-pager of cures, and the cures come from the Mayo Clinic, from UCLA Medical Center, 15 cures alone there. I used to be on the staff and faculty, from Scripps and the University of Michigan, and the litany goes on and on. So if we're to be fair with the patient, and I believe the medical profession is well-intentioned, when Botox doesn't work for SD, spasmodic dysphonia, wouldn't you want an alternative?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you remember this voice?
I've had 9 Botox shots. The first one worked successfully. The rest of them...
Now, that seems to be a pattern. The first one works and then others don't. And patients tell me they've been on the show. Nancy Samaglia has been on this show. She had 9 Botox shots, and not one ever worked. Others have had 12 Botox shots, and it worked for 1 day or 1 week. And we had a young man who came to the office. He had 10 Botox shots, and it worked for 1 day or 1 week of 10. Another gentleman has 15 Botox shots, and he had 1 day for 1 shot of a voice and a week for another shot. Now, if Botox doesn't work for you, isn't it fair that the medics give you choice of treatment? They do know of the alternative, but it's non-medical. Why would you come to see me?
Because you can give me hope, and you have led me in the right direction, and it's all very common sense to me.
How do you know it's working? How do you know it's common sense?
Because everything that you've written in your book, I've been there. I understand what you're saying exactly.
You've read my books. Which ones have you read?
The suicide, voice suicide especially.
Stop committing voice suicide.
That's it. That was excellent. I identified with so much in there. And it's a slow process, but it took me a long time to lose my voice and commit suicide with my voice.
Voice suicide.
Voice suicide, yes.
All right.
Definite
You know,
distinction.
SD, spasmodic dysphonia, is said to have a high suicide rate.
I believe it. It's very isolating. Sorry. It's hard.
When you came in, first day, I said, we're going to go to lunch as part of your treatment.
Oh, I didn't want to. I wanted to go hide in my car.
Did you believe me when I told you can talk in noise and
No.
beat the strangled voice?
No, I didn't think anybody would hear me. I didn't want to talk.
You were with a young man who can use his voice now. He has severe
Yes.
spasmodic dysphonia.
He has a beautiful voice.
Beautiful voice.
Yes.
He was with us at lunch.
Right. He was exuberant. I want to hide.
Could you talk in noise doing what I told you to do? What did I tell you to do?
You told me to bring my voice up in pitch, which I did. With difficulty, because my breathing was still incorrect.
Was reversed.
Yeah.
But you could talk above the noise.
Right, with not a lot of volume.
Could you do that now?
Yeah.
Let me hear you do it.
Talk above the noise?
Yeah.
Talk up here. Hello? Hello?
Do you feel a change in voice up to the face from the lower throat?
Yes. I don't have it right yet, but yes.
You could be heard easily in noise.
I know that now.
What I'm trying to get you to do is relax and realize there's hope. My medical colleagues guarantee that you can not recover. They guarantee
They're wrong.
it's hopeless.
They're wrong.
Are you beginning to get that? You've been with
Yes.
me for a week.
Yes.
What is the idea you're getting from me in regard to the way you used your voice before?
I was breathing wrong. That's a very bad habit for me to break. But I catch myself doing it. And I also was speaking in my lower throat, not up in my... I didn't have my resonance up here. It was all down here.
Right. Squeezed. Can you
Yes.
squeeze your voice?
I still do. I know I do.
Can you do it effortfully? Give me a 1 or 2 second.
I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, I'll do it. If you talk like that. And then you talk up here. All you're doing is changing the focus of your voice, the placement from the lower throat, where all spasmodic dysphonia, strangled voices, are coming from. I work with Henry Fonda. He had strangled voice. He got out of it. He went on to do On Golden Pond. I work with Shadow Stevens, the national entertainment guy on radio and television. He got out of it. Keith Erickson, he got out of spasmodic dysphonia. They give up the right of privacy and confidentiality. Let me tell their story. It's very interesting. I work with a number of people who've had SD, spasmodic dysphonia, diagnosed at the top medical centers by the top ear, nose, and throat doctors, neurologists, and they have found a cure. Now, it is said that your problem is neurological. It's a basal ganglia problem. It's a chemical imbalance in the brain. It's a dystonia. It's a neurological problem. It's a rare disease. It's a psychiatric problem. It's a gene-related problem. I'm just asking you folks, do you think I'm capable of overcoming any of those problems, helping patients naturally to change the focus of their voice? I don't believe anybody would believe that I can do that if it were real. My position is that the medical theories have failed. They are wrong. They're on the wrong road. And I invite them to change their view and their theory of voice misuse. They're making spasmodic dysphonia into a hopeless condition. And they're telling you it's a death sentence. When you come in, what do they tell you?
There's no hope, no cure. The only thing you have an option for is Botox.
For life. 4 to 10
The
times
rest
a
of your
year.
life.
Variable sums from $500 to $4,000 a shot. And it goes on 4 to 10 times a year, each and every year. Now, here's the other side of the coin, which frightens me. Dr. Mitchell Bryn brought Botox to the field in 1984. Well-intentioned. 1991, at a sponsored meeting by Allergan, the maker of Botox in Irvine, Dr. Brin at 3 o'clock in the afternoon said before hundreds of people that he wants to withdraw Botox fearing the long-term downside effects on the body. And he also indicated that there are other drugs that could replace Botox. But recently he has been interviewed because I asked an editor of a major magazine in the country to check that statement. And her staff did, and Dr. Brin was kind enough to say he did make the statement, but it's dated. Dr. Brin is now on the Allergan payroll as a vice president of development. Now, nobody knows the long-term downside effects on the body. Nobody.
Right. I was told that. They don't know long-term effects.
Mm-hmm.
But this is my only option for the rest of my life.
Botox.
Botox.
Right.
Not true.
Okay. My position is the doctors are well-intentioned, but they're on the wrong road. This is the voice that you had.
I've had spasmodic dysphonia since 2004 and was treated at Mass.
Okay. And they're telling you that there's no hope for a cure. Let's take a listen to a young lady and her story. It's a brief one, but I think you might get the idea of what I'm doing and why I go to the public and why I appear on the major shows. Sally, Maury, reporting cures of spasmodic dysphonia on CNN a number of times, on the major TV shows and radio shows. I've been there, and I'm up against a drug company and a medical community. There are 200 doctors doing Botox of 14,300. They do it 4 to 10 times a year. There are serious consequences at times. Dr. Burke at UCLA Medical Center, chair of the Head and Neck Division, has written in 1999. And it's a lifetime annuity, I find. They're telling you you have to have Botox for life. And it's a full employment act for the 200. They're well-intentioned. Let's take a listen to a young lady who had 4 Botox shots and prayed to get off it. She's on the Sally Show.
Have Jimmy James return in a few minutes. But first, our next guest defied all the odds. She says for 34 years she didn't have a voice. And she's been working with this gentleman, Dr. Cooper, for about 4 weeks. And now really can talk again. Sylvia, you're going to talk, but you're going to talk the way you talked for 34 years. I think it's important that we hear the difference. What happened? You were 18, and what happened?
Well, I was 18 years old, and I had a tonsillectomy. And after the tonsillectomy, my voice got worse. I got a virus, and I got sicker and sicker. And by the time I got rid of the virus, I didn't have much of a voice. It would come and go. Sometimes it would almost be normal. But most of the time, it was never normal.
Doctor, what is that called?
It's called the strangle voice spasmodic dysphonia.
And what causes it?
The talking in the lower throat. My take on it is that it's misuse and abuse. The medical community is saying it's an unknown cause, and they look to medical or neurological cause, and I'm reporting cures of this condition for over 25 years.
Okay.
By direct voice rehabilitation. It's a different approach.
She's such a beautiful woman, and she sounds like a very old woman.
Yeah, when I spoke with her by phone when she called.
You thought you were going to talk to somebody who's what?
120.
120. That must be very embarrassing. I would think so. How did you find the doctor?
Well, I went through 34 years of searching. I tried absolutely everything. I went to every doctor imaginable.
It's like I'm talking to a different person.
You are?
Oh, yeah.
You are?
Oh, that's so scary. So you tried everything. I'm sorry.
And as a last resort, I had tried botulism 4 times. And after I had the Botox